36 have been approved.
With applause, New York today awarded the first marijuana dispensary licenses for the sale of recreational weed. 36 licenses were issued, most going to individuals with a history of marijuana arrests, a handful going to nonprofits helping individuals in communities disproportionately hit by decades of criminalization.
It feels amazing to be a Black woman, a Black-led organization, working with socially justice-involved individuals whose community has been devastated by the war on drugs.
Officials expect the dispensaries will open beginning mid-December, and the approvals allow license holders to deliver weed directly to customers.
What?
You know, Governor Hochul in New York has been the major thorn in the side of New Yorkers. I still can't see how she won the governorship in New York on there. And, you know, and the race was close. It was very close to begin with. I mean, this is someone who just basically doesn't know her constituents in the state, and willy-nilly will throw things out that just basically is ridiculous. You know, it's another version of Gavin Newsom, and people are moving out. They're flocking out. You know, they're tired of this. You know, New York has been slowly dying out, especially New York City. You know, New York City is not the New York City as it was before. It's becoming back to the 70s and 80s once again. You know, we got drugs on the street. We had another video. Crack is back and heavy again. You know, because they're putting it with fentanyl and all that. And then, you know, you have the cannabis trade that's going on. They made recreational cannabis legal in New York, which I'm going to tell you that it's the wrong way to do it. My thoughts is that the cannabis should have been just only for medicinal, which, if you notice, most of the companies that are opening up in New York are only medicinal sites that are opening up. In other words, you need a doctor's prescription to get the pot in those stores, and most of them are upstate. And meanwhile, while there are not that many licenses that are being given out, most of the ones that have been given out have been given to convicted felons, ones that have had drug offenses. Why would you do that? Why would you? They said, well, we got to give. You know, they went to jail. It was not their fault. This, and that. But they're drug felons, and the people that want the licensing proper on there, especially veterans, are being left out in the cold. So let's read into this off the New York Post. New York favors felons snub disabled veterans in awarding of pot license critiques. Albany's slow recreational cannabis rollout is leaving veterans behind, critics charge. Advocates say Governor Kathy Hochul's administration is discriminating against disabled military vets by prioritizing convicted drug felons when awarded license to sell marijuana, and possibly violating the very law that legalized the sale of cannabis in New York. The whole veterans community is up in an uproar. Carmen Fiore, a chair of the Cannabis Association of New York Veterans Committee and a disabled Army vet. The Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act of 2021 that legalized recreational sale of weed is designated 5 social and economic equality classes to get 50% of the employment opportunities in the budding pot industries, covering those convicted of marijuana-related crimes and service-disabled veterans, as well as women and minority-owned businesses and distressed farmers. But so far, the first 300 cannabis dispensary licenses have been set up solely for applicants found guilty of pot-related or related to someone who has been swept up in it before the drug legalization. Only criminal applicants have been allowed to apply, said Fiore, an FDNY emergency medical technician who served in the Army from 2008 to 2016. Fiore and Hochul said Hochul's administration, via the Office of Cannabis Management and State Cannabis Control Board, is passing over disabled vets and is likely flouting the law by shutting them out. The OCM actions are not only biased and discriminatory against veterans, they are potentially illegal, he charged. Fiore noted that the OCM carved out a new justice class last spring, creating the conditional adult use retail dispensary license for applications previously of convicted of marijuana-related offenses. The license category was not included in the MRTA language, he said, referring to the 2021 legalization legislation. State officials have allowed ex-cons to leapfrog disabled veterans under the special license, Fiore added. While there could be an overlap with the so-called social equity groups for conditional licensing, such as women and minority applicants, disabled veterans are not included because individuals with drug convictions in the most instance are ineligible to serve in the armed forces, Fiore said. He also said that the state official eased eligibility for special licensing for ex-cons compared to the rules that are applied to disabled vets and other groups. Disabled vets and women and minorities without a felony pot conviction must show that they've had finances necessary to operate and leases secure for the property to open a weed dispensary. But under the conditional licenses, ex-cons can be approved without money or leased and obtain financing via a fund that would dispense the business loans. Social equity, impact ventures, those groups' ownership include former basketball star Chris Webber. The financing group has largely been a bust, unable to raise the necessary funds to get the program off the ground. The exclusion of disabled vets in getting the first license to sell weed is just the latest controversy on the rocky roll out cannabis program. There's a little bit more to this, but that's just the basis on there. Understand this. Currently, right now, on the streets of New York, you have 1,500 illicit shops that are flourishing, making money, not paying taxes, selling pot, selling vapes, selling illegal cigarettes that are not taxed to New Yorkers right now currently. And the mayor himself, he's trying to get these places shut down. They said, oh yeah, but they're not being shut down as fast enough. There was one, well, it's been shut down now recently. There was one across the street from City Hall. Across from City Hall itself. You're handing out pot licenses to felons. Are they going to follow the law? Depends. In most cases, I would say no. Because basically, and you can go to California and Colorado on this, the legitimate companies out there that don't have a felony record had to go illegal just to basically be able to survive, because basically it's the street dealers that are making money, the illicit shops that are making the money. You think the felons are going to be, on there? They're going to go around there and, and say, hey, listen, I'm not making any money. But meanwhile, they're going to be selling it out the back door. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop at all. And see, here's the stupidity about this. You don't know how they approve this for the felons, because basically, if you're going to open a bar, you have to go through a licensing to get an alcohol license to serve alcohol. And the same thing is with cigarette licensing as well. You can't have a felony record on your app on there. You can't be a felon. If you have a felony record, they immediately deny you. I know that. I've had members of my family who, they were not good in life, and they tried to reclaim their lives on there, and they tried to do something a certain way, and they were denied licensing. They wanted to open a nice bar restaurant, and they were not allowed to. I mean, they were able to open the restaurant, but they couldn't serve liquor. And I know a lot of people that basically, when my family used to be in the cigarette wholesale trade, that they tried to get licensing. There were new stores. They came to us. They said, "Oh, we'll set you up, when you're ready," and stuff like that. And then they came back to us and says, "No, we couldn't get our licenses." I said, "Do you have a felony on yours?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "They won't give you one. If you're a criminal on if you have a misdemeanor, yeah, I could see you can get around some of that, which is okay. If you have a misdemeanor charge, stuff like that. But if you've gone to jail under a felony, you did the crime, you did the time, you try to do things, to better your life, but there are better ways of doing it. Not by going back and doing the thing that you, especially, doing the thing that you were doing, dealing pot illegally, because it's not only pot you're probably doing, selling cocaine or any other thing that was illegal. You're giving these guys that are felons, and I'm not saying every felon is a bad guy. There are those who got swept up into situations that basically they shouldn't have been in the first place. And like I said, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Sammy Davis Jr., if you've never heard that song before. We have to keep a rule of law when it comes to that. And there are other people. I mean, you have veterans who want to get into this business legitimately, that they want to get into the medicinal part of it as well, because there are vets that are suffering from things that basically doctors would prescribe it to them, and they don't have enough dispensaries to get it out. But yet this is what our governor, here in New York, is thinking of. Doesn't give a shit about the situation, and this is why, when you're voting, ask yourself the question: we have these problems here. Why am I still voting for this same person that basically is still causing these issues? People said, they throw things at you. They're like, well, it'll put this particular president back in. Look at the perspective of who's going to do the job. Who's going to do the job right? Who's going to get it out there than people that haven't been done? New York is in a cesspool now. We have violence up the wazoo here. We have 2 videos coming out about the situations on there. We got one about the robberies are still continuing on Smoke Shop, and of course, crack is back like it's never been before. It's scary right now. 1980s are back. People said, well, crack never left. So you're right, crack never left. But now it's back in the surgence as it first started back in the 1980s. That's the scary part right now. So comment below. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. I would really appreciate you sharing this video with a lot of people, because this is important. This is very important. The cannabis trade, recreational trade, is not working. Okay? No matter what anyone tells you, it is not working. It is failing. It starts out nice and dandy, and then it just fizzes out. New York is the perfect example that it fizzed out immediately. Just within the first couple of weeks. Okay? Remember, 1,500 illicit shops. Illegal shops that are out there selling marijuana. And who knows who they laced it with. Because basically you could put fentanyl in it. You could put xylazine in it. You could do any of this shit that they've been doing lately. Heroin, cocaine. It all can be laced into marijuana. People have gone to the hospitals already. Kids have gone to the hospitals already. Understand that. So we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.